Hola clase! So today we're going to see agreement with descriptive adjectives. First we're going to see a definition of what an adjective is. Then we're going to see how gender and number work in descriptive adjectives in Spanish. And at last we're going to see the place of adjectives in a sentence. So first, let's review some basic grammar topics. What is an adjective? Adjectives describe characteristics of nouns or pronouns. Remember that nouns can be people, places, things, animals, but also concepts and ideas. Descriptive adjectives are used to point out characteristics such as nationality, quantity, size, color, shape, personality, and appearance. Here we have some examples from the book. Descriptive adjectives. In Spanish, adjectives must match the gender, masculine or feminine, and the number, singular or plural, of the nouns or pronouns they describe. So for adjectives ending in the vowels O or A, they vary in gender and number. And to form the plural form of these adjectives, you have to add an S. So if you see in this chart, you can see el cuadro bonito. Cuadro is a masculine singular noun. So the adjective bonito, which means pretty, has to be also in the masculine and singular form. La persona bonita. La persona is a feminine singular noun. So the adjective bonita has to be feminine and singular. And then to form the plural form, you add an S. So for a masculine plural noun like cuadros, which means paintings, the adjective must also be masculine and plural. Las personas bonitas. Personas is feminine and plural. Noun, so bonitas must also be feminine and plural. So let's do a practice. Select the adjective in the parentheses that agree with the noun. Here are the answers. So we also have adjectives that doesn't end in or a, but they end in the vowel E. These adjectives that end in the vowel E are invariable in gender. And to form the plural form, you have to add an S. So if you see in this chart, we have inteligente, which means intelligent, which is an adjective that ends in an E. So, el perro inteligente, la gata inteligente, el teléfono inteligente, la televisión inteligente. La televisión y la gata are both feminine singular nouns. El perro y el teléfono are both masculine and singular nouns. And as you can see, the adjective inteligente is invariable, always stays the same. Then, to form the plural forms of the adjectives, you have to add an S, since the adjective ends in a vowel. So, los perros inteligentes, los teléfonos inteligentes, las gatas inteligentes, las televisiones inteligentes. So, as you can see, the adjectives ending in the vowel E only vary if you're talking about the singular or the plural form, but they don't have a gender variation. This is why people that want to show neutral language to refer to somebody's gender, they use adjectives that usually ends on O or A, and they put an E instead of the O or A. So if you want to talk about inclusive language in Spanish, I have to say that using the E in adjectives that usually end or in O or A, it's not very well accepted by the Real Academia Española, which is the Royal Spanish Academy, which is an institution that kind of regulates the language and the use of the language in a very normative way. So they make norms for speakers to follow. Using the vowel E in adjectives that usually ends in O or A, it's how some users of the language, some native speakers, have found a way of expressing gender neutral when you're talking about a person's identity. But when you're talking about things that they have a grammatical gender. I have to say that using the E in adjectives that have an O or A ending, for many speakers, is a very disruptive use of the language. And I'm gonna show you later in this video another way of using inclusive language without changing the endings of the adjectives. Okay, let's practice. You have to provide the appropriate forms of the adjectives in the parentheses according to the nouns they describe. Here are your answers. You can check them. Okay, for adjectives ending in most consonants, they are invariable in gender, and you have to add an es to form the plural form. So if you see in this chart, most adjectives ending in a consonant, like fiel, which means loyal, which ends in an L, they are invariable in gender as the adjectives ending in E. El amigo fiel, la amiga fiel. To form the plural, since it ends in a consonant, you have to add an es. Los amigos fieles, las amigas fieles. So here we have a practice. Select the adjective in the parentheses that agree with the noun. Here you can check your answers. For adjectives ending in dor, dor, even though they end in a consonant, they do vary in gender. You have to add an a to form the feminine form, and they do vary in number. To form the plural masculine, you have to add an es, and to form the plural feminine, you have to add an s. So we will see this in these examples. El hombre trabajador, trabajador means hardworking, is an adjective that ends in dor. So to form the feminine of these adjectives, you have to add an a. La persona trabajadora. Trabajadora is an adjective describing la persona, the hardworking person. Los hombres trabajadores, the hardworking men. So to form the plural masculine form, you have to add es to trabajador, because trabajador ends in a consonant. But in the feminine form, since trabajadora ends in a vowel, you just have to add an s to form the plural form. Las personas trabajadoras. So as we have said, all nouns in Spanish have a grammatical gender. So even though if you're talking about a thing like the desk, the house, the sun, the moon, or a person, the noun by itself has a grammatical gender. So a way to express gender neutrality for somebody's identity is to use the noun persona. So instead of using mujer or hombre or niño, niña, or chico, chica, you can use persona, the noun persona, for a gender neutral form. So you will always describe that noun, since that noun is feminine with feminine adjectives. So that's also a way to express gender neutrality for a person's identity. So let's practice. Select the adjective in the parentheses that agree with the noun. One last one. So if you see in this chart, for adjectives of nationality, adjectives of nationality is when you're describing a person's origin by using their country's name. For adjectives of nationality ending in a consonant like francés, which means French, un amigo francés, a French friend. To form the feminine form, you have to add an a, francesa. Un amigo francés, una amiga francesa. To form the plural masculine of the adjective, you have to add an es. Unos amigos franceses, some French friends. To form the plural form of the feminine adjective, you have to add what? An s, because francesa already ends with a vowel, so you just have to add an s, francesas. Then for adjective of nationality that ends with the vowel o or a, to form the feminine, you just change the o for an a, or to form the masculine, you just change the a for an o. Then to form the plural, you just have to add an s. Los profesores guatemaltecos, the Guatemalan professors. Las profesoras guatemaltecas, the Guatemalan professors, female. Then for adjectives of nationality that end in an e, they are invariable in gender, and to form the plural form, you just have to add an s, since they already end in a vowel. Okay, let's practice. You have to indicate the nationalities of these people. Here you can check your answers. Okay, we're gonna go to the last section of this video, the place of adjectives. So most Spanish adjectives follow the nouns they describe. Un escritorio viejo, una persona anciana, una persona mayor, mi hermana es aburrida, mi mamá es divertida, los payasos son cómicos, mi gato es arrogante. So as you can see, this is different from English, because in English you put the adjective in front of the noun, but in Spanish, usually the adjectives follow the nouns they describe. But there are some exceptions in which the adjective precedes the noun. For example, mi mejor amigo, this adjective precedes the noun. Mi mejor amiga, again, this adjective precedes the noun. Also, Spanish adjectives of quantity precede the noun they describe, as in English. Quantity, I refer to numbers, but also to adjectives like a lot or a few. So, un libro, dos mujeres, tres escritorios, cuatro hombres, muchas personas, pocos libros, poca tarea, muchos estudiantes. Adjectives of quantity precede the noun they describe. Then we have the adjectives bueno, which means good, and malo, which means bad. They can be placed either before or after the nouns they describe. But if bueno or malo is placed before a masculine singular noun, they take the form of buen and mal. So you can see this in the chart. Buen amigo, amigo bueno. Mal amigo, amigo malo. Buena computadora, computadora buena. Mala computadora, computadora mala. Buenos libros, libros buenos. Malos libros, libros malos. Buenas películas, películas buenas. Malas películas, películas malas. Being in front or after the noun in bueno or malo, it doesn't change the meaning. It keeps the same meaning. But we also have the adjective grande, which usually means big or large, and can also be used either before or after the noun that it describes. But when grande precedes a singular noun, either masculine or feminine, it takes the form of gran. When gran or grande precedes a noun, it can take the figurative meaning of great or impressive. So you have gran amigo, escritorio grande. Gran amigo could mean like a big, a big friend. It's physically big. Or it can mean like a great friend. Escritorio grande can only just mean big desk, something that's big or large. Gran familia can mean big, in the sense of that's a big family. But also can mean a great family, gran familia. But familia grande can only mean big family. In the plural form, grandes libros can mean big or great books, but libros grandes can only mean big books. Grandes películas can only mean great movies, because if you want to say that a movie is long, you would use another adjective. You wouldn't use big movies, you would use long movies. In Spanish, you would say la película larga. Es una película larga. So, computadoras grandes can only mean big computers. Okay, we have one last practice. And here you can check your answers. Adios.